Hey guys, I hope you're doing alright. This video is for targeted individuals. If you're not targeted, you're probably not going to understand what I'm talking about here. But I just wanted to give you guys an update. I know I haven't done one of these updates in a long time. Actually, I think it was back in September was the last update I did. So I'm just basically going to go over stuff that I've recorded in my journal for you guys, like I usually do, just to, basically so you can compare this with your own experiences, and hopefully this will help to solve this weird thing that's going on right now in our country and also in other countries. So I'm going to start on October. These are some of the things that were happening last October. So I woke up. You guys know I have like these weird noises that I hear, first thing in the morning sometimes when I wake up. And I guess in October I heard what sounded like a train whistle, but it was coming from my right ear, and it was really, really quiet. And then also I had like a noise or something, like an electronic frequency. Then I was outside one day talking to my neighbor, and the other neighbor came out and started recording me with their cell phone camera. And it was one of those times when it was really obvious. I know it. You know how sometimes people will point their phone at you and you're like, what are they doing? That kind of looks odd. And then other times you're thinking, okay, they're facing me, but they're just on their phone and you can't really tell. Well, this was really obvious. I mean, it was really obvious that he was pointing his phone at me and taking a picture, like recording me. Like he was actually following me because I was walking by to go get my son, and as I was walking by, he was like recording me, like following me with his camera. It really freaked me out. And I told you guys about how ever since I moved into this apartment, like I've had 3 different neighbors, 3 of my closest neighbors. Okay, not just random people, but 3 of my closest neighbors that live closest to me. They've all moved out and other people have moved in. And 2 of those neighbors, remember they both had the same ornament that they placed outside their house, like this random thing. It wasn't a holiday thing at all. Since then, one of them took it down and the other one still has it up. But I mean, I'm sorry, but it's not. There's something weird going on there. And I know many of you guys have had experiences like that as well. Like every time you move, your neighbors move out and other people move in next to you, and you get all this weird, like, harassment. That's exactly what's been going on with me too. Okay, and you know the story, how you always, every time you go outside, somebody else has to come out. But like, it's just, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes it's like, okay, maybe that's coincidence, but like that time when he was recording me as I was walking by, that was completely obvious he was recording me. Okay. All right. So I hate to bring this up. I hate talking about like family stuff on here. but it's part of my experience, so I have to. Um, but it's just, it's just hurtful that my own family members won't respond to my messages. Like, and I don't harass people. You know what I mean? Like if I send somebody an email or a message on Facebook and they don't respond to me, then I don't. And by the way, just so you guys know, I canceled my Facebook a long time ago, like a couple years ago, but then I got back on. It's just one of those things, like I'll get sick of it and I'll cancel it and then I'll go back. It's just in case you were wondering about that. But anyway, I have like a Facebook just for like, you know, family kind of thing. But I'm the kind of person that if I email you and you don't respond, I'm not going to email you again. You know what I mean? Like that's just I have a little more self-respect than that. If somebody doesn't want to talk to me, I'm not going to hassle them about it. It's like, okay, but it's hurtful when it's your own family. And especially when it's somebody that you've done things for in the past, like you've helped them or like if I'm offering to give something to a friend or a family member and they just won't even respond to me at all. You know what I mean? Like they won't even like respond and say, "Oh, thanks, but no, I don't need that," or whatever. No, they just don't even respond. And and here's the thing, like I sent my ebook cuz you guys, it was so much work. I mean, that book, that was not a book about my own life. That book is something that I've been researching that material for 20 years, literally, you guys. I mean, this is stuff that I've spent 20 years researching. I mean, 20 years ago, it was like I was just reading a lot. It was just, I would read a lot of books on this subject. But it was just an enormous amount of work. And I mean, thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate the people that have, you know, helped me to be able to do that. Okay. But what really hurts is that I sent my family, of course I'm going to send my family like a copy of my book that I wrote. And you guys, none of them responded to me. Like they didn't even like say thank you. Like I didn't even get like a response, an email response saying thanks. Like not at all, okay? Um and I can't believe it. And one of my family members, I actually spoke to them in person beforehand and asked if they wanted a copy of my book. And this person said yes. And when I sent it to them, they didn't even respond to me. They didn't even say thanks, I got it. You know, I don't need people to respond to me and say, wow, that was really great if they don't think it was great. I don't need that. But just a simple thank you. I mean, especially when somebody says, "Do you want this?" and they say yes. I mean, it's just really it's really hurtful and it's just weird. I just think it's really really weird how I just anyway. So that's something that's been going on or something that happened, you know, back then because I guess because that was around the time that I finished the book. Okay, here's the next thing. I gotta talk to you guys. These are my entries from November. I gotta talk to you guys about this. There are people on YouTube that, so I've been a targeted individual for, I don't know how many years now, close to, it's pushing 20 years. And I didn't know what a targeted individual was when this stuff first started happening to me. I didn't have words. I didn't know what a targeted individual was. I didn't know what gang stalking was. None of that. But I knew what was happening to me back then. Um, but anyway, I didn't I never had a YouTube channel until 3 years ago. So that just gives you an idea. I mean, I'm not targeted because I have a YouTube channel. That's not why I'm targeted. I wasn't speaking out on anything. I didn't do anything mean to anybody. It was nothing that I did that caused me to be targeted, but um and I've talked about this stuff in the past. I mean, around the time I got targeted was also around the same time that I started having the dreams, the apocalyptic dreams. So that maybe there's a connection there. I don't know. Then there's also the church stuff, the fact that my mom filed a report with the church because I told her about something that happened to me when I was a child. And, there was never a lawsuit. There was never even an intention of a lawsuit, but that was going on around the same time the targeting started. So, like I said, there's a lot of different stuff, that could be the reason I was targeted. But the point is, it's not anything I did to deserve it. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, the point is, once I did open up a YouTube channel like 3 years ago, the gang stalkers started attacking me on YouTube. And they started doing all kinds of weird stuff to mess with me on YouTube. And I've told you guys some of the stuff that they do, so I'm not going to go over all of it again. But back in November, um, there were these people, or this one person at least, maybe two different people, I don't know, because this person had like a bunch of different screen names, and I could tell that it was the same person contacting me, but with different screen names. Um, but and this person was trying to pretend that they were someone that I'd known in my past, okay? And they knew like personal private like information, but I don't know. I don't think it was this person. I think it was just somebody messing with my head, cuz I've told you guys that they listen to me in my house. Like, remember, I've told you guys specific examples of how like I'll be talking about something in the privacy of my own home, and then I'll go to the grocery store and somebody will walk by repeating my exact words. I mean, they've sent me remember that one time they like sent me a recording of myself in my apartment, of me in my apartment. They sent the recording to my voicemail and it's stuff like that. So I mean, I know that they've been recording me in my house. So I was just kind of freaked out, but I'm like, I don't think that that person on YouTube that was contacting me, I think they were just messing with my head about this person from my past, okay? Well, here's the other thing. There was this other person around the same time that was also contacting me on YouTube. And I'm not sure if it was the same person that just had a different screen name. I'm not sure. But this person had on their channel a video that they uploaded and there was a song in the video, a melody that this person claimed they got from a royalty free website, okay? Well, it was a song that I wrote when in like 1996. And what you have to understand is, okay, well, I mean, you don't have to I didn't mean to say that. You just like I wrote this song in the privacy of my own home. Okay, I never played it for anyone. It was something that I recorded at home. Because I had a guitar back then, and I was writing a lot of songs back then, and I recorded a lot of my songs, but I never published them, and I never played them ever anywhere in public, and I never even played them for friends or anything. It was just totally private. Okay, but here's the thing, like one of the songs that I wrote, there was this, like, a year later, after I left Hollywood, because I was living in Hollywood back then. After I left Hollywood, a year later, I think it was like the next year, this song went #1 on the pop charts. And I swear, you guys, it sounded exactly like my song. They had the same, it had the same melody. It had the same melody. And the only thing that was changed, okay, look, the only thing that was changed from this song was the middle eight and the lyrics, but everything else was the same. Everything was the same, you guys. The chords, the exact same chords in the exact same pattern, because it was a guitar, it was on guitar. I wrote the song on guitar. The song that went, the song that was produced, and that ended up on the radio was, um, it was it was also on guitar, and so it was the exact same chords in the exact same pattern, and not only that, the the female's voice, the female singer that sang the song, she had this almost identical voice as me, like the same sound, vocal quality. It's hard to explain, but it was just, it was like somebody, it was like they stole my song and they found someone to sing it exactly the way I sing it. That group that came out with that song, it was a one hit wonder, and they never came out with another song like that again, ever. They never came out with any more um, successful songs. If you find groups that are really good, that they have like a #1 single or something, they have #1 singles again and again and again. If it's authentic, if it's not a stolen, if it's not stolen material, then they'll always be at the top of the charts. You know what I mean? Because the music is actually coming from them. They are actually writing their own music. And you know who those people are. I mean, if you're into music, you know they're authentic. You know they're really writing their own stuff. But the people, the bands that have one hit wonders, that's stolen material, you guys. They stole that material. So, I mean, I'm telling you the truth. I can't prove it to you. I mean, all I could, if somebody really, really, truly wanted to know if that was true, and they were like investigating it, and they were like, no, we want to find out if this is true, because if it is, you can file a lawsuit. I mean, if somebody really, truly wanted to help me with that, which I highly doubt that'll ever happen, but if somebody truly did, I do have the recording that I made in my apartment in 1996. So technically, I mean, if you could actually date that recording, then it maybe could be provable that I did write that song before it was produced. But I don't know, and I don't have the resources or anything to take action against it. But it hurts deep, deep inside of me. It's extremely painful. And it's extremely painful when you create something that is completely original and somebody steals it and makes millions off of it. And I'm telling you, um, the discoveries that I've made with the biblical research that I've been doing lately, I feel that that's probably going to be stolen too. And I mean, it is copyrighted and everything, but I just, That's what these people do to me. They are constantly, they're thieves, okay? And I'm not the only targeted individual that has reported experiences like this. It's just sickening. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I went off on that tangent right there. But what I was going to tell you is that this person that was contacting me on YouTube back in November had this video on their channel, very, very short video of a melody of a different song that I wrote. This is a totally different song that I wrote around the same time in 1996 because I was writing a lot of music back then. Same song, the exact same melody, only it wasn't on guitars. It was somebody played it out on keyboard, put it on a royalty-free site, and apparently, because I asked this person, I called them out, I was like, where did you get this song? That is a song that I wrote in 1996. Where did you get it? And this person first didn't tell me, just kind of like tried to ignore the question. So I asked them again. And then they kind of like fudged it over, like, oh, isn't that just a silly little coincidence? And I was like, no, it's not. I want you to tell me exactly where you got that song. I had to ask this person, like, I don't know, 5 times before they finally said to me, oh, I just got it at some royalty free site. So they started recording me in my apartment in 1996. Well, at least by 1996. That's my point here. And they actually stole material that I was creating, creative material that I was creating in the privacy of my own home. They stole that. Okay. Do you understand what I mean? I'm sorry. I don't mean to like. I'm just okay, like I know you guys I know that if you're targeted, you completely understand what I'm saying. I just sometimes I feel like people listen to these videos and they just cannot, they don't, never mind. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's that. That was in November. Okay, so then also around in November sometime there was this incident at the grocery store where this man was standing behind me, like directly behind me. I was in the produce section. I was just getting some, produce. And he came up and he was standing directly behind me. So you guys know this is like a gang stalking maneuver that these people do to me. Because I've talked about it in past videos where this man, and it's always a different man, a man will come up and stand directly behind me. And I'm not talking about off to the side. It's always somebody that doesn't have a cart or even a basket in their hand. Okay, they're not holding anything at all. They're just randomly standing behind me, directly behind me. Okay, this guy was the same thing. He was standing directly behind me and whistling, which is the other thing that they do. I'm just telling you what these people do. There's very specific things that they do. So he's standing directly behind me whistling. So I kind of I turn around and I was like, what is this guy doing? So I turn, which I already knew what he was doing, but I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, like, okay, maybe this is just coincidence. So I moved to the left so that he could get whatever it was he was trying to get. But instead of moving in and getting something, he moved to the left so that he could stay directly behind me. So I moved to the right. And what did he do? He moved to the right. And I'm not talking about in unison. Like sometimes situations where you try to get out of somebody's way and they kind of like move with you, like right at the same time, and it's an accident. That is totally an accident. I get that. That's not what this was. I moved to the left, and then after I moved to the left, he moved. It wasn't like we both moved in unison accidentally. No. I moved, then he moved. Then I moved to the right, then he moved to the right. So finally, I was just like, forget it. I'm just going to a different section of the store. And then when I went to a different section on the other side of the produce counter, he just stood there and he wasn't even shopping. He wasn't even trying to get at food or anything. He just stood there. So, I mean, that was definitely, he was gang stalking right there. He was harassing me. And also, he seemed, for some reason, he seemed ex-military to me. Um, okay, in December, I had another. Oh, I hate telling you guys this. I really do. Um, I'll just tell you this: another burning sensation that was happening regularly at 1 o'clock. I noticed it for several days in a row. I made a point of checking the time when this burning sensation would happen, and it happened every day at 1 o'clock. And I don't want to tell you guys where it was. Um, because this stuff is embarrassing, and nobody would ever get on YouTube and tell you this stuff. I shouldn't say nobody. It Most people would not get on YouTube and tell you things like this because it's embarrassing. People aren't going to believe you. I mean, this is something that you only do it because you care about other people, because you care about getting the truth out there. And I I have a channel where I talk about a lot of different things going on, but I know that there is an enormous amount of people out there that won't listen to anything else I say simply because these types of things happen to me. And and then you have these other people out there that go, well, we're not going to talk to that person because she has weird things happening to her. Well, excuse me, it's not my fault. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna try to get on here and pretend to be something that I'm not. I don't like that. I don't have time for that crap. I have too many things. There are too many things going on in this world that are important for me to be playing games. I don't do that. I don't come on here and play a role or something. I don't try to hide other things from you guys. This is just who I am, and these are experiences that I have. And if people aren't going to listen to completely rational um, truth that I'm talking about within other subjects, like having to do with biblical fulfillments or stuff like that, if they're just too close-minded to pay attention to, you know what it is? It's that they lack the rational ability. They can't reason. That's really what it is with those people. They, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on another tangent here for a second because, I just want to, say this. Because you know how it is. There are these people that they will only pay attention to something if it comes from an authority. You know what I mean? Like, and you know why that is? It's because they lack reasoning ability themselves. So they don't trust their own ability to see if something's logically valid or not because they know they're incapable of doing that. So they have to have an authority figure that they trust, and because they're incapable of thinking for themselves. And I'm not saying that's necessarily bad or anything, because I mean, it's, if you can't reason, I mean, if a person is incapable of logical reasoning, that's not their fault. It's just that it's frustrating. It's just frustrating because I'm just not going to play that game. You know what I mean? Like, you guys know, those of you that are TIs, a lot of TIs won't listen to me because I talk about Bible stuff. So they just refuse to listen to my targeted individual testimony because they think, oh, that's just some person that talks about Bible stuff. So why listen to her? And they're prejudiced. They're prejudiced. They don't. They're making a judgment about. It's just anyway. I'll just stop talking about that right there. It's just frustrating. And I'm not going to change. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stop talking about this because it's truth. It's truth, and I don't care about what people think I should, like some stupid image crap. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you need to have a right image if you're going to talk about Bible stuff. No, I don't. I don't need to have an image about any of this. This is just truth. When I talk about my experiences, it's just truth. This is really what's happening in my life. And I'm not going to hide certain things from you guys just because I happen to talk about other stuff that anyway, some of you guys will know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to play that game, that compartmentalization thing where, oh, you only have a channel for your Bible stuff, and then have a different channel for your targeted individual stuff, and then have a different channel for. No, this is it. This is just like my cyberspace home. I don't like that stuff. I don't like games like that. I just want reality, just truth. I'm just sick of games. I'm sick of Hollywood. I lived there way too long. I don't like that stuff. It's just fake. You know what I hope anyway, I'm done. Um, but I don't get on here. I'm on here because I really want to be here for you guys, for those of you that are targeted. It's embarrassing. It's not something I do because I think it's cool, or you know what I mean, or something, just whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So we're in December now. I'm going through my journal here, and I got up one morning. So I have these days where I'll get up to find something laying in the middle of the room that wasn't there the night before. So that happened again in December, where I got up the next day and there was a blanket and a pillow in the middle of the floor, and it wasn't there the night before, in the middle of the living room floor. So it was just something that these weird things happen sometimes. Another thing that started happening in December were these sound synchronizations. So, like, there was this certain area of my house where I would, every time I would pass by that area, there would be, um, the water would run in the apartment next door really loud, and it almost seems like there's like a microphone on the pipes or something because it's extraordinarily loud. And I noticed that every time I would pass this, okay, not every time, but there were several days in a row in December where every time where I would pass this certain area of the apartment, and all of a sudden the huge, loud, amplified water running sound would come on exactly when I passed that spot, and it would turn off when I passed this other spot. Well, later on, and I mean this, okay, so this was happening in December, but just last week I noticed a hole in the wall, this tiny little hole in the wall, exactly in that area. and it's like a hole coming from the apartment next door. Like, I mean, I don't even want to say what the connotation is right there, but I mean there are these very obvious synchronizations of sound. So, I mean, I've told you guys about how um, I'll every time I use the restroom, there's these synchronizations with my bodily functions. I hate telling you guys that, it's embarrassing, but I mean it's real, and it's harassment. And it's just very bizarre harassment, I know, but this is something that does not happen all the time, but when it does happen, I put it in my journal. Um, and it happened again in December 5th. And this time on December 5th, I made note that it was actually synchronized to my muscle contraction. So, I mean, I don't know if there's like microchips involved somehow. I don't know what's going on with this stuff. Okay, but there's something very clear to me it's going on. And I know there's a lot of other targeted individuals that are making these exact same claims. So there's something going on there. Okay. Um, my mom tried to break into my house. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I didn't mean to say that. A family member tried to break into my house, got my apartment manager to try to break into my house, and it was nothing. When I asked her why she did it, it was this really lame thing like, um, oh, I was, um, she said she was worried, about the heat or something. Like, I don't know. It was this really lame excuse. And I mean, if you're thinking that I must have said something, that I must have, no, it's nothing like that. Okay, everything was normal. I've never made any threats. I've never made any, nothing like that. Everything was completely normal. But there are these weird incidents where this family member shows up to my house unannounced on certain days, and this doesn't happen all the time, but I've noticed this pattern in the last 6 months because I was reading over my journal and I realized it's a pattern that the only time this family member does weird things or says weird things is when they show up to my house unannounced, like on off days, because this person will usually come to my house on the same day you know every week. And but when this person shows up on unannounced, like on off days, there's always some weird circumstance, like the time that this person tried to get the apartment manager to break into my house. I mean, that is very, very disturbing. That is very disturbing when somebody tries to break into your house for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't missing. There was absolutely no reason, you guys. Um, and it was a lame excuse. The excuse was unbelievably lame. Like, just, it was really frightening for me. Really, really, it was traumatizing. Um, and the other time that this person came over unannounced, she was talking about this circumstance where she started talking about my son, and she was talking about this other person she knew that just coincidentally had a child my same age with the same name. And she was telling me this story about this person, But she, okay, I'm gonna try to get this right. My mom, okay, it's my mom. Okay, you guys already know. Okay, it's my mom, all right? She was telling me a story about this person. She's told me about this person before in the past, but for some reason this day she got the story wrong. And so there's something going on when, and again, like I said, it's only on the days this person shows up unannounced at my house, like on off days when she doesn't usually come to my house. And she will like tell me stories about things she's talked about in the past, but it'll be the wrong story. Like she'll get bits and pieces of it wrong, and I'm just like, how is how do you go for, and I mean, even if she had problems like memory problems, that wouldn't explain this, okay? Because it was like one day this person had ran a daycare at her house, and then the next time she was telling me the story, this person's, it was like, no, this was the same day. I'm sorry. Okay, this was the same day she was telling me the story. She was like, first she told me that this person ran a daycare at her home. Okay, and then the story changed, and this is the same day. The story changed, and this person's child went to Head Start. And I'm like, how do you, and it's just, there's something weird going on there, and I just, you guys, I have to tell you this, and I hope you're understanding this. I hope that there's at least even just one person out there that's listening to this that goes, "Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about." Even if there's just one person out there, I have to tell you this because there's something going on here, and it's not normal. And it has to do, and it doesn't have to do, it's not only specific to one person in my life. This has happened with other people in my life. I can think of years ago, there was this person that I was dating, and sometimes he would come over and he had like a completely different personality, and he would do these abusive things that were horrific abusive things, okay? But then the next time he would come over, he'd have this completely different personality. Like he wasn't even the same human being. And I'm talking like his facial features were slightly different. So I know probably the majority of people watching this video are not going to have a clue what I'm talking about. But like I said, I don't care. I'm speaking to the one person that knows what I'm talking about here. I'm saying this because I'm willing to put myself out there for you so that you know that you're not crazy. You know what I mean? I'm putting myself out here for you because this is real. This is some weird stuff that's going on. And I don't know, I have ideas about what it might be. And I almost don't even want to say anything. You guys you've heard me talk about it before. That it might be some type of image technology that they're using, like a holographic image technology. Because in the past, um, I've told you how I've seen people actually, when I was living in Hollywood, I actually saw, um, let's see, there was one girl, I told you about her, the one girl that changed right in front of me, like the way she looked changed right in front. Actually, okay, there were two different people that I can think of. Um, where I actually saw them change. And I told you guys about the concert that I went. This was in Hollywood also. I went to a club tour in Hollywood in 2008. I told you guys about this, and I'm actually afraid to tell you who it was. But some of you are going to know who it is. Um, I know this is a long TI video. Holy crap, I just realized this is 45 minutes, but I haven't made a TI video in a long time, and I don't care. If you're, I mean, if you're still listening now, that's your choice. But some of you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. I'm afraid to say who this is. I'm afraid of her, you guys. But some of you are going to know who it is. I went to her club tour in 2008 in Hollywood. Oh, God, I'm so scared. And I'm scared. I'm scared, you guys. I'm scared of this person. Um, and I don't talk about it very often. I talked about it that one time back in I think it was a couple years ago that I told you guys this story about this concert that I went. It wasn't really a concert, it was a club tour. And it was like in the fall of 2008. It was in Hollywood, and somebody invited me because I don't normally do stuff like that because I've always been impoverished my whole life, never have money to go to do stuff like that. Somebody invited me, and I was like, okay, yeah. But some of you guys will remember that, and you'll remember like a couple years ago I was telling you the story about what happened there, and I'll tell you in a minute real quick, but okay, I'll tell you right now, okay. Um it, this person is really famous right now, okay, and they weren't that famous back then, but I went to the concert, okay, and I'm telling you, the person I saw on stage was not the person that you see on TV and in music videos and stuff. Like this person, it wasn't that person that I saw on stage. It was somebody totally different. And I asked, since then, I've talked to this girl. I'm sorry, okay, the person that I went to the concert with was a girl. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to say her name or anything like that, but I've since talked to her and asked her, like, okay, that concert we went to, that was so and so, right? And she was like, yeah, that was cool, right? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. But I didn't say anything to her because I know she's, it scares me, okay? Because I'm telling you, it wasn't her on the stage. This, this person. It wasn't her. What I saw with my eyes did not look human, okay? And in 2012, you guys, I feel like I'm going to start crying right now. I'm so scared. Okay, I'm not kidding you. I'm like shaking on the inside right now because I didn't want to tell you guys this. Oh, God. Because I'm scared. And back in like a couple years ago, and I think it might have been in 2012, I made a video. Yeah, it was in 2012. Yeah, I remember this. It was in like fall of 2012. I was telling you guys about this experience, and I was like, and I was like, I don't want to tell you who it was. I don't want to tell you who it was. And then um remember after I was talking about it, the next day the cops were knocking on my door. Remember that? And this was in 2012. That's why I'm shaking right now while I'm telling you guys. Um because I was like, "Oh no, I know what it was." I was like, "Okay, guys, I'm just going to tell you who it was. I'm going to tell you who it was." And I don't think I ever did. I can't remember if I told you guys who it was or not. But I remember I made a video the next day because I was upset or something, and I was like, "Okay, I'm going to tell you who it was." And then boom, the cops were at my door knocking on my door. And so I'm scared of her, you guys. I'm scared. I'm scared of her. But I have to tell you guys that because it's really freaking weird. I'm telling you, I was at her club tour in 2008, and what I saw on the stage did not look like a human being. I'm not lying to you guys, okay? I'm telling you the truth. And okay, look, maybe they did, maybe something happened and they did something to my eyes. I don't know, but I'm telling you the truth. That is the truth, and it scares me to have to tell you that. Okay. Um and I'm not sure, I can't remember why I brought that up, so I'm just going to continue on with my journal here, okay? Um okay, so January. Okay, now we're to January, okay? I realize I'm covering like 6 months worth of stuff here. So just bear with me. Okay, January. Somebody yelling my name in the back of my house, like twice in one day. The first time they did it, I thought maybe I just hearing things, but then they did it again a second time that day, just yelling my name in the back of my house. Okay, and then this other weird grocery store incident where this 3 times in a row, okay, 3 weeks in a row, at the same location in the grocery store, a man, an older man, it's always an older man, but it's a different older man each time, okay, 3 weeks in a row, same spot of the grocery store. An older man would walk by and turn and just glare at me as they're walking past me. This one aisle, okay, I'm in the aisle, right at the edge of the aisle, and it's this certain spot where I always get the same thing every week. And I'm in that same spot, and 3 weeks in a row, an older man, a different older man each time, but an older man would walk past that aisle. I'm right at the edge of the aisle. He'd walk past and he'd just glare at me. And look, you guys know it's not normal. I mean, when you're walking past someone, you look at them and then you look away, unless you're walking toward them. And then sometimes when you're walking toward them, you might look at them longer than normal and or longer than usual, and that's kind of normal. No, this was not normal, okay? This was like they're walking past me, not toward me, but past, like, okay, I need to explain this to you so you can understand what I'm saying, because I know it's hard to understand when people are just trying to describe something. I'm facing the shelf, okay? I'm in this aisle at the grocery store. I'm facing the shelf, and to my left is the edge of the aisle, the end of the aisle, okay? You see what I'm saying? And that's the open space there. So somebody walks past the aisle. They're walking past the aisle, okay? And just there, he's walked the first 2 times he was walking from left to right. Okay, so picture this. I'm facing the shelf, and to my left, this person walks from left to right, passing me, passing the whole aisle that I'm in. They're not walking down my aisle, they're walking past the aisle, okay? And as they're walking, they're, instead of facing forward, they are looking to their right, glaring at me the entire time. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, the first time this happened, I was like, okay, I'm just going to chalk it up to coincidence, whatever. Yeah, it was weird. But then the following week, the exact same thing. This time, a different man, but it was still an older man. Same exact thing. Walking past that same exact spot, I'm facing the same direction because I'm looking at the same product that I always buy each week. The person passes at the exact same spot, doing the exact same thing, just glaring at me the entire time they're passing. Then a third week in a row, the same thing, only this time, again, an older man, only this time he is with a woman who is pushing a cart and they're walking in the opposite direction. Same thing. This time, I can't remember if it was her that was glaring at me or if it was him, but the man actually said stare as they were doing it. He actually, as they were glaring at me, like I said, I can't remember if it was him or her, as they were glaring at me, the man said stare. Okay, 100% stalking and harassment. I'm not making this up. I'm not crazy, okay? And I just want to point out the first two times that it happened, one of those men, okay, the first two times that it happened, the men were not, they were not with anybody else. They were not pushing a cart. They were not holding a basket. And that's the weird thing about a lot of these people. They don't seem to be shopping at all. You know what I mean? Like they're not in there to shop for groceries. They are not pushing a cart. They're not holding a basket. They're not even holding any products. Okay. And this, and the one time, the old man that did that kept showing up everywhere in the grocery store, and he even showed up outside of the grocery store as I was leaving. Only when I was leaving the grocery store, he was on his way back in to the grocery store, again, not holding anything, no cart, no products, nothing, not even a billfold. Very weird stuff, you guys, and disturbing. And I mean, this is the reason why people won't talk about their targeted experiences, because it's so weird. They don't they don't want to tell anyone because they know people are going to think they're crazy. They don't want to say anything because they can't comprehend what's happening to them. It's very disturbing stuff and it's very weird. So again, I'm just here for you guys. I'm here for not for myself, clearly not for myself, because I know that I'm just getting attacked for what I'm telling you. People just, all I get is attacked for this. My family, people attack me. They get the cops against me. They get, you know, social services against me. They get all. I don't get rewarded for doing this. Okay, I get attacked. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this for the future. I'm doing this for the good of people in the future, though, so that somebody, even one person, who's in a position where they can save this testimony and use it in the future as evidence to help someone else, even if it's 20, 30, 40, even 50 years from now. If I can help somebody, that's why I'm doing this. And that's why I keep saying this to you guys. If it's happening to you, please say something, even if you can only tell one person. You know what I mean? Because this is a really sick form of stalking and harassment that is being perpetrated against really good people. Really good people. Okay? It's Nazis. It's a new form of, I don't know what they call that, like Nazi style harassment, and people are actually dying from this people are actually being murdered. There's this guy that was recently murdered on you. He was a YouTuber. He had a YouTube channel and he was murdered, and he was a targeted individual. Because I went and I checked out his YouTube channel, and I'm pretty sure he was a targeted individual, and he was pretty disturbed. And he had some pretty weird, like, he would act kind of crazy sometimes and stuff. But I just knew, because I've been a targeted individual for 20 years, so, or push almost 20 years at least. And like I said, I don't really know when the targeting started exactly. I just know when I became aware of it. I became aware of it in like 95, 96. So, I mean, it's been going on for a long, long time for me. So I recognize it. When I went to his channel, I was like, this dude was murdered. He was killed by or I'll just make a separate video about it. But he was murdered, and he was a targeted individual. So, I mean, targeted individuals are being murdered. They're being stalked, harassed, and murdered. It's very serious. And I mean, it's very scary, especially when you start realizing that people are being murdered. And the way that they harass you, I mean, sometimes it's extremely disturbing how they, um, just, I'll just leave it at that. I'll make a separate video on that whole thing. But I mean, that's why I do this. It has to be out there. This information has to be out there, because this silence, this people that are going through this stuff, they stay silent because they're so afraid they're going to be called crazy. It's just it's important. You don't get out there and tell your story for yourself, obviously. I mean, but it's an unselfish act. It's something that you do so that you can help others, at least in the future. Maybe not now, but that's all I had to say, okay? But okay, so January, I logged January 22nd, water in unison again. That's using the restroom. I also want to say this, because I don't think I told you guys this before. They're doing it to my son too. Because I can hear it, like when my son's using the restroom, I can hear all of a sudden this amplified water sound. So I know and he'll get real agitated, and he'll even start crying sometimes about, because it's really disturbing, you guys. It's like it's amplification. It almost sounds like somebody is holding a microphone to the pipes and blasting it through the wall. I mean, it's really loud. So like I said, they're not only doing it to me, they're doing it to my son, and my son will like cry about it because it's that agitating. So very weird, but it's not all the time. It's not every single day. Just it's random. So I don't know what's going on there. Um, Something weird going on with the radio station. I don't even know what. I don't even repeat broadcasts and stuff. Like the DJ will be saying the exact same thing, like at the exact same. And it happens like several times in a row. And I mean, I don't know if I can't really be sure about that, because I think, well, maybe that's just something that they do because they don't have a DJ one day or something. So I'm not really sure about that, but it's not just that though. It's like they'll be talking about just weird. I'm not even going to talk about that because it's too weird. I'll just no, just forget it. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, February 21st, I have logged that I had the red dot in my eye again. It's always the same spot, my left eye to the left of the iris. I told you guys I have a family member who also lived in Los Angeles, who had the same exact red dot in her eye, in the exact same eye. It was very, very, very disturbing. Very disturbing to see that. I mean, I can't even tell you guys because I wish it was a cataract, you guys. I wish it was. Um, and the other reason I know it's not a cataract, I mean, obviously, you don't, if it's a cataract, it doesn't just show up every 9 months. Come on. The other thing is, it it always appears in the morning. I wake up to find this red dot in my eye. Okay, just wish I could pretend this stuff wasn't even happening. And then I recorded the water in unison thing again in March, at the beginning of March, and also at the beginning of March, another park incident. I'm taking my son to the park, and this time I actually said it out loud because I wanted to see if, because I've told you guys, I know they listen to me in my apartment. They've proven that to me. They've actually made sure that I know that they're listening to me in my apartment. And I've told you guys exact incidences about that. So what I did was I announced out loud that we were going to go to the park. I was like, "You want to go to the park?" So I made sure to say it out loud, and sure enough, by the time I got to the park, there were these two grown men at the park, and they were talking real loud about some really offensive, like, things that scared me, okay? Just offensive, but they were also clapping. And this is something that the gang stalkers have been doing for years now. And I've given you guys specific incidences where they'll like just come up to me at the grocery store and clap their hands really loud. Like these big, tall, like 6 or 7 foot tall men, big men, will come up to me and just slam their hands together really loud to like startle me and freak me out. So, I mean, and that's what they kept, this one dude kept clapping his hands together, like, and it was really obvious. It was obvious to me that it's just so freaking scary, you guys. I can't even tell you how scary it is that these people are literally like monitoring me in my home, and I the only way I serve okay, the only way I survive is by putting this out of my mind for most of the time. So like the only time I ever even think about it is when I'm recording it in my journal, and then I just put it out of my mind. And then the next time I think about it is when I'm making a video for you guys. That's the only way I can survive. Because if I thought about this stuff every single day, I would go crazy. I would flip out. I can't think about it. I have to put it out of my mind because it's so scary. It's so scary. Because I will conduct little tests, and I'll make a prediction. I'll say, okay, I predict that if I say out loud that I'm going to go to the park, they'll be there waiting for me, and it'll be another gang stalking incident that is obvious. And sure enough, every time I announce it out loud, they're waiting for me at the park. But if I don't announce that I'm going to go beforehand, they'll show up about a half an hour or so later. You know what I mean? So, like, if I don't say anything about going to the park, I make sure not to say it out loud, we just go, then they'll show up. Like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, half hour later, they'll show up, and there'll be some incident. There's only been one time that I was at the park that there was not an incident, okay? Only one time that I can think of offhand where there wasn't an incident that was clearly gang stalking, okay? Um, And so, I mean, if I announce it out loud, they'll be there waiting for me. And if I don't announce it, they'll show up like a half hour later. It's just, it's so horrible, you guys. It's just freaking horrible what they do. It's just so horrible. And you can't, and there's no way to prove it because it's always something that's plausible deniability. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I was just doing that because it's just a habit I have. Oh, I was just doing that because, oh, you know what? You know what I'm talking about. It's always plausible deniability stuff. It's never something that, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, the same time that that happened, that park incident. Okay, this is the beginning of March that this is happening. There was a sore on the roof of my mouth, like this really painful sore on the roof of my mouth. I'm not talking about a canker sore here. I'm talking about a sore that, okay, like if you feel the roof of your mouth, where the hard portion of the roof of your mouth is, that's where it is. This sore has appeared there in the past. Years ago in like 2001, I think it was 2001, somewhere in there, somewhere between 2000 and 2000, somewhere between 2000, year 2000, 2002, I think. It was either 2001 or 2002, somewhere in there. Anyway, I just remember the apartment I was living in at the time. Again, I had this sore on the roof of my mouth, and I actually went over to the window in the sunlight and I had a mirror, and I put the mirror inside my mouth so I could see what it what the sore was in the roof of my mouth, and it was a needle mark. It looked like a needle mark in the roof of my mouth. It was just this dot. It literally, guys, it looked like a needle mark. And at that time in my life, I was getting needle marks in my arm. I would wake up to find like a needle mark in my arm where the crease of your elbow is, where you know, like on the inside of your arm where you usually, where like if you go to the doctor or something, that's usually where they draw blood. I would wake up. Around this time of my life, there were a lot of weird things happened back then, you guys. Because that was also the time when I was having these freaky dreams about people with black eyes, solid black eyes and stuff. I mean, just, wow, there was some really weird stuff going on back then. Because I had this dream. I remember I had this one dream that Santa Claus was on the roof next door. Because I lived in this apartment where there was a roof next door to me. Like right outside my window, there was a roof of another building. Just there were a lot of really weird things going on back then. And the only reason I say that is, I mean, that was a dream, but the only reason I say that is because in Steven Spielberg's, okay, Steven Spielberg made this miniseries called Taken, and it's about alien abduction. And in that miniseries, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It starts out with the Roswell incident, and then it goes through time up to present day, and it's all about these people. It shows these alien abductions that occur like in the family lineage, generation after generation after generation. It's really interesting, but oh, you guys, I just hate my life. I hate my life. I hate that I have to tell you guys this stuff, but I just do. Because I know I get attacked. I get attacked by Christians all the time. You guys know that, right? Like, they hate me because, well, okay, I shouldn't say they all hate me. Of course, they don't all hate me, but like a lot of the people that attack me are people that claim to be Christian, because I guess like the stuff that I talk about on my channel is against a lot of their doctrine and stuff, so they just attack me. But I know that a lot of you guys are Christian too. I'm not saying it's all Christian. I just a lot of them are Christian, and but they attack me because they say, "Oh, you're having dreams about people with black eyes. That means you're evil or something." They're just so. I hate that and this is the reason most people won't tell you about their nightmares or things that happen to them, because they know that they're going to get attacked themselves. You know what I mean? So I don't want to do this. I just have to tell you. So like years ago, I mean, I haven't had any like dreams like that recently. Like, um, but my point was around that time period when I was having all those creepy dreams, I had the needle mark on the roof of my mouth, and I knew it was a needle mark because I looked at it in the mirror in the sunlight. And my point is, I had that same sore on the roof of my mouth at the beginning, around the beginning of March this month. And I mean, I know it was the same thing because it felt exactly the same way, and it was in the exact same spot. Um, okay. I had another incident at the grocery store also this month. Um, and what it was it was this older man, and I overheard him saying to a store employee, he said something about, "I'm trying to find her," or something like that, which I didn't think anything of because he could be talking about anybody. I didn't, but I turned to look to see who he was um, talking to. Just, you know how sometimes somebody will say something and you just, for whatever reason, you turn in that direction and you just happen to look at them, and you're not necessarily doing it on purpose. You just kind of turn and you look and you make eye contact with them just randomly, not by any intent or anything. He said that, and I just kind of subconsciously just turned to see who he was talking to, even though he was like, I think maybe 50 feet away. It was kind of, I mean, I'm not good with distance, but he was some distance away. And I just overheard him say, "I'm trying to find her," because I was just coming around the corner as he said it. And so I just kind of turned and looked because I was moving in that direction. And as I turned to look, I saw that he was talking to the store employee, and she looked at me, and we made eye contact for like a couple of seconds. And and then I just kind of looked away because I was like in the middle of doing something. But I started moving in that direction, and the man was walking toward me, and the store employee, and then he walked past me, and the store employee went into another aisle. And I don't think she knew I was coming in that direction because I was kind of sideways, and my cart was sideways, and I was at the end of the aisle, so it didn't look like I was going to turn. I know this is confusing, okay? I know it's hard to like understand what I'm saying, okay? But I don't think she knew that I was headed in that direction. And she went back behind the aisle so she didn't see me. And so I moved back in that direction, and as I passed her aisle, I overheard her say, "Oh, she just looked at me." You see what I'm saying? Um, so it freaked me out because I was the person that just looked at her. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it happened within, I would say within 1 minute. Okay, because let me just tell you, I was facing, okay, I was facing to the side, so it didn't look like I was headed in that direction. I had my cart and everything faced like I was going in a different direction. But I heard the man say to her, I'm trying to find her. And I just kind of looked to my left, just subconsciously, like, and as I looked to the left, I saw her, the person he was talking to, and she looked at me and we made eye contact. Then he walked toward me and she went into another aisle, and I turned in her direction and went past the man and he passed me, and then I went past the aisle that she had turned down, and I heard her say to someone else, this is what she said, quote, she just looked at me. So it really did seem like the store employee was talking about me, and because I was the one who had just looked at her. I mean, it was like within the minute. It really did seem like there was some type of surveillance going on, and it was the store employee, and I was the one being surveilled. And you guys know this is not the first time. This is because I've told you how there have been instances in the past, because I shop at the same grocery store all the time for the last a couple of years. And there have been other instances. I told you about that one time where the the clerk was like interrogating me about my purchases, and it wasn't like an innocent thing. It was, she had this tone in her voice, like I literally felt like I was in like a court of law, and she was like the the you know, prosecuting attorney, like interrogating me, and that was the kind of tone she had in her voice, and it was about my grocery purchase. It was so weird, but I've told you guys about that stuff in the past. So I mean, I have to say this, it really does seem like we are living in a Nazi police state right now. And I know people have come on my channel and say, hello, are you just realizing that? Yeah, I guess I am. I mean, it really seems like we're living in an environment right now where there are civilian people, and probably some of them are ex-military, because like I said, a lot of the people that are stalking and harassing me are men. And it's been like that since the beginning, and that's what makes it even more traumatizing and scary, and especially with being a single mom with a child. I mean, it is horrifying, you guys. And a lot of them seem like they're military men, like a lot of them are like real big. And I told you about that. I mean, this is one of the worst instances, but I told you about the dude in New York that shoved me when I was pregnant, when I was like 6 or 7 months pregnant, I think. I was like somewhere between 6 and 8 months pregnant. Because I just remember the apartment, I was the area of town that I lived in. But they're evil. They're evil people, okay? But these gang stalkers. But, and that actually, that wasn't the only time I got somebody shoved me when I was pregnant. And this is like people that are doing it on purpose. This isn't an accident. It's not an accident. 'Cause, anyway, so what I was going to say about the grocery store is it seems like maybe I've been chipped or something, and it's giving off a signal so that they know where I'm at any given time. You know what I mean? So when I leave the house, they know that I've left the house, and then they come and they harass me. And it's almost like I will say this, it's not every single time that I go to the grocery store. It's not every single time that I leave the house, okay? But um and I'll also say this, it comes in waves. It happens in waves. So like there'll be a period of time where it'll be real quiet and nothing will happen, and then all of a sudden boom 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 boom, there will be a bunch of things all in a row. Like there'll be the electronic harassment and the gang stalking. It's like it'll all hit. It comes in waves. um but I really think that there are certain people that actually are working, like it's their job to stalk and harass, and that they have like certain people that are on their hit list, and so they'll like focus their energy on one person at a time or something, and that maybe that's why it comes in waves. I don't really know, but but I think that they purposely have like jobs at certain places, like certain stores, mainstream stores or something, where it's easier for them to stalk and harass these people that are on the hit list, because they know these people are going to shop at these certain stores all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really starting to think this is what it is. So, like, when you go into this store, it's like maybe they have on their phone, they'll get like a message, or maybe they'll get a signal on their phone or something that shows them that a target just entered their workspace. And so, so it's time to go monitor the person or something. I swear you guys, I never thought this before, but I'm telling you, I really think that's what's going on. And the thing that freaks me out is how you remember that speech Obama gave a couple years ago. He said, "We need to have a civilian army." Remember that? And it freaked me out so bad because, I'm not blaming him, because I know he's a front person. They're all front people. All these, anybody you see that's in politics or celebrities or whatever, they're all front people. But it freaked me out that he said that, because what is this civilian army, you guys? What exactly is the civilian army doing? Because I'm telling you, the people that have been stalking and harassing me for 20 years are organized. It's organized surveillance and harassment and stalking and persecution and physical um, persecution. And they even were they're even harassing my child. I mean, that is sick. You guys, they don't do this because you're bad. They don't do this to bad people. They do it to babies. And that should tell you right there that we are dealing with an evil, evil force. And if you wonder why I talk about the Bible so much, it's because I'm scared, you guys. It's because I want God to help me. I mean, you wonder why I got on YouTube, why I started uploading videos to YouTube in 2011, because why I started telling you guys visions and stuff, because I was praying. I was praying to God to help me, because I could not get help from anyone else. I was sending emails and stuff to government people or anybody I thought that maybe could help me, and nobody was helping me. All I could do was pray. I started praying and praying and praying, and then boom, I started getting all these visions and stuff. And you guys know the visions are coming true. And so that's why I say to you, those visions are coming from God. And that whatever is happening to us, it was written in the Bible, you guys. Go, if you don't believe me, and I mean, I understand why people don't believe that, but I have a video. It's called, was Was King David a targeted individual? Because the stuff described in like the book of Psalms, I think it is. I can't even remember right now. Go check out that video. You can just like Google it or something. Uh, I swear, these people in the Bible are describing specific very, very weird stuff. Like, okay, just for example, the people that barking like a dog. I've heard other targeted individuals describe these same things where somebody's just barking like a dog in front of you and you're just like, what are they doing? Why are they barking like a dog? And I'm not even talking about like barking at me. I'm talking about like barking at somebody else across the actually barking like a dog to somebody across. I mean, that was a really weird instance, you guys. And 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 then when I read it in the Bible, I think King David was talking about, because he wasn't always a king, just so you guys know. He was a persecuted individual. I didn't even know. I didn't even know this dude was describing stuff because I didn't read the Bible back then. I didn't even know this dude, David, in the Bible, was describing people barking like a dog at him. This is a common complaint amongst targeted individuals, you guys. I know it sounds weird. I mean, what is this weird stuff? I don't know. Okay, I'm done, all right? It's 6 months worth of stuff, and that's it. That's everything, for the past 6 months. So I'll let you guys go. And I mean, I know people are gonna get on here and attack me and say that I shouldn't talk so long. Well, but that's just retarded. I mean, I, so what? You know, it's not like anybody's being forced to listen to it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I had, for those of you that want to know, you know what I mean? For those of you that are still listening, you listen to this whole thing. It's for you because you're targeted. You're a true targeted individual. You've been going through this stuff for a long time. You know it's real. You know the stuff I'm telling you is stuff that really does happen to a lot of people. It's the same kind of stuff happening to all these different people who don't know each other. And it's and we all need to provide our testimony. That's all. We all need to get on here, or any. I mean, even if you're just too scared to get on YouTube and do it, we we all need to at least tell one person what's happening. That's the only way this is ever going to be resolved. So I'll let you guys go, okay? And I hope you're hanging in there, and I hope that you will not give up. Don't give up, because you can't. Don't. There's always the hope that this thing is going to be resolved during our lifetime. You know what I mean? And just try to pull through. Just stay alive. Just take it one day at a time. Just take it one day at a time. And don't worry too much about what you're gonna do. 2 weeks from now. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about next week. Just worry about today. Just worry about right now. Just focus on what you're doing right now, and just try to stay calm. Just try to breathe. Just tell yourself, it's going to be over soon. It's going to be over soon. And the thing is, even if it's not over soon, because I know for me, this has been going on for 20 years, you know, pushing 20 at least. It may have started in 92, I'm not sure. So, actually, no, this is 2014 now. Yeah, it's been going on pretty much 20 years for me. Um, so I mean, if anybody can look at this and say it's never going to end, it's me, because it's been going on for 20 years and it has not stopped yet. So, I mean, I get that, how you feel like it's never going to end. It's never going to end. I can't escape. I can't escape. I get that. But you got to pull through. You cannot give up, okay? You cannot give up. Just keep. I know nobody will listen to you. You don't have anybody to talk to. Nobody believes you. Everybody's attacking you. Your friends and your family have rejected you. They've left you. They won't talk to you. I know, but you just have to stay alive. You just have to pull through. And please, I mean, not for yourself, but for the rest of us. We all have to keep pulling through for each other. You know what I mean? For each other, we need to stay alive, because one of these days, and you don't know, one of these days, something might happen where all of a sudden, boom, justice. You know what I'm saying? Justice for you, where all of a sudden somebody says to you, okay, we're done with the investigation. We know you're telling the truth, and now you're part of a class action lawsuit. You're gonna go and you're gonna be, there, these people that have done it, we know exactly who's been doing it to you, and they're gonna pay your salary for the rest of your life. Just stay alive. Stay alive, please, please, okay? Because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe, and I mean, I know some of you guys don't believe in the rapture, some of you guys don't believe in the escape, but the stuff I've been doing, the research I've been doing into the Bible, and I'm telling you, it's weird how the Bible describes this stuff, targeted gang stalking. That's just weird, but it does. And the Bible is what's telling you, hang on, hang on, hang on, it's almost over. We're going to rescue you. We're going to rescue you. We're going to rescue you. Hang on, hang on. And it doesn't tell you when. And I know people get so upset because they're like, when is it going to happen? And I feel the same way, and I don't know when. And you guys know I don't even try to figure it out anymore. I'm just like, I don't know when. It could be tomorrow, you guys. It could be tomorrow. You don't know. It's telling it. And if you're suffering, please go get a Bible. Please just go get a Bible. You don't have to be religious. The religions have hijacked the the biblical text. I'm sorry, for those of you that go to the church, awesome. I'm glad you found a church you feel comfortable with. You're not, you're not bad because you go to church. I'm glad that you found a church that you feel safe at. I've never felt safe at church ever in my life. I had horrible things happen to me when I went to church as a child, so I'm afraid of church. Church scares me. Actually, church terrifies me. I don't even have a word for the level of fear that I experience when I walk into a church. So if you feel safe in church, I'm so glad for you. So, I mean, it doesn't mean, some people go to church, some people don't go to church, some people are religious, some people aren't religious. It doesn't matter. Just please read the Bible, because it will help you. It will help you. And you guys know that I believe the Bible was hacked into, that the Roman Empire changed a lot of the stuff in the Bible and like put all this really evil stuff in there. But there's still a lot of good stuff in there. And like, if you read Psalms, I think, go check out my video, King David Was a Targeted Individual, and look at the books that are in there, and then go read those books, and just for your own, to help you. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to you guys, and I need to do it myself. I need to take my own advice. Just just stay alive, please. Just stay alive. Just don't give up. Stay alive. I'm gonna let you go, okay? I hope you guys are doing all right, and I'm sorry I can't upload these videos more often. I know people have told me these videos help them, and I'm sorry that I don't do it more often. So I hope you guys are doing all right.